Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast episode number 261. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Book Insight Friday. Today, I'm going a little bit of a different route. I'm going to talk about a book that I just read recently. It's called Extracting Peace Out of Pain by Jvion Jones. Self-published author. Met him a few weeks back at an author event that he had hosted, him and a few other authors. We exchanged books. I read his book pretty much in one sitting. Extracting Peace Out of Pain is his journey and how he pretty much got through one of the toughest times in his life in his early 30s. And he talks about being diagnosed with a brain tumor where he had to have a craniotomy or something like that. Yeah, he had to have surgery on that, and it changed his outlook on life. And he has a young son, and he realized that he needed to really start to change his focus on life. Now, he has to go for MRIs every few months to make sure that the cancerous tumor, cancer didn't come back. His tumor didn't, grow back, in his brain. And it's a scary thing, to know about, and shares a lot of similarities to what I dealt with from, family, my family and what my mom went through a few years ago. I'm very transparent in a lot of things that, I share, with me personally. I don't share every single aspect of me personally, but certain family events that have happened that have changed the landscape of my life, right? So, extracting peace out of pain basically means that he has found peace within himself, no matter what obstacles and hurdles that he has to face. He also shares a lot of lessons and things that he's learned about life. He has, his own t-shirt business. He's also, obviously a writer and author. He's also published other books. And he knows that every word that he pens and he puts to paper is going to be establishing a legacy. And you guys know I talk about this all the time: longevity and legacy. When you're long gone physically, how will you live on in other people's eyes and in other people's memory, right? And he talks about major figures in life, as far as him being a black man, as far as Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and, Huey Newton and, so many others that have been a huge part of history. Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, George Washington Carver. These people are pillars of, black history, right? And I'm speaking of this coming from a black man's perspective, even though I am half white, half black. But, there's a lot that you get out of that book. It's 100 pages. You would, have to reach out to him to get a book from him personally, because he does not put all of his books on all of these big platforms. And he does it for a good reason. If you guys go back and listen to why I took my books off of Amazon, that podcast, you guys will understand. He's of the same mindset also. So I totally get and understand, where he is from a mental standpoint and where he's coming from. It's great that he wrote this book. And his Instagram page is Jvion Vision. So it's Jvion and then Vision, Vision. That's his page on Instagram. He does a lot of things in the community. This book, actually put things in perspective for me and what I want out of life. And it's funny that his mindset is similar to mine. The only difference is he has a son. I don't have kids, and I don't have a significant other. He does. So he has a purpose for, why he does what he does. For me, my purpose is to write the content and create all the content and put it in audio and things of that nature, because I don't know how long I have either, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm going to go tomorrow or anything like that. No. But you don't know what's going to happen in this world, and you don't know if you're going to open your eyes tomorrow, right? So for me, I'm approaching 50 books, right? When I'm gone, God forbid I go, my mom has 50 books that she can live off of. She has these podcasts that she can live off of. She has access to all of my information and all of the things that I have put in place when it's all said and done, right? So if I, God forbid I was to go, let's just say, there's another, 10 books that, won't get published, basically, in a nutshell. Well, I will say 6 will get published in ebook. They just won't get published in paperback. But I'm just hypothetically speaking. You just, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen, right? So he lives his life in 2-month increments, because every 2 months he has to go for, a scan of his brain, right? And that was powerful, because for me, I'm like, well, I live 1 year at a time. So now I'm like, well, wait a minute, do I need to change that? Like, do I need to live 6 months at a time or something? I don't know. Right? I've experienced a lot in my life. I've watched people in my family die, literally, slowly. I've been to their wakes and their funerals and all of that, right? I would say I've lost about, 8 or 9 family members in my life. And I'm, 40 right now? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's just say safely close to 10 that I've, experienced in my life, right? So being realistic here, I mean, what can I say? And then, I've had some family members where there's been some close calls. I mean, and not once, but twice with one of my family members, but neither here or there. Extracting Peace Out of Pain is a book that's worth really looking into. It gives you valuable lessons on life. It puts life into perspective. It allows you to grow and become the person that you're meant to be. It allows you to live one day at a time. It allows you to stay in the moment. It makes you focus on what's important and not being a yes person to everyone. Sometimes you gotta say no because you value your time. And he talks about that. I've been someone who's been a yes man also. And now I'm more focused on my own content and my own journey. This is more important to me than doing a sports podcast. I could go back into sports and I could do it, but I don't love it enough. And I know that I'm not going to give 100%. So if I know I'm not going to do that, then why would I do it, right? I was a big sports guy in my 20s and about halfway into my 30s. And then things changed. I mean, I like sports now. I don't love it the way I used to. I'm not fully invested into it the way I used to. I had all the gear, the shirts, the hoodies, the hats, all that stuff. And I gave it all away before I moved to Arizona. I go to basketball games from time to time. I've never been to a football game. I'll get there one day. Been to a lot of baseball games. Yeah. But I'm a Yankees fan. So yeah, don't beat me up, and please don't stop listening to my podcast because I'm a Yankees fan. It's because I was born in the Bronx and I grew up 20 minutes from Yankee Stadium. So what choice did I really have? You know, but anyway, Extracting Peace Out of Pain is a book that's definitely going to be a book that shines light and makes you think about your life and where you are and where you're going and what your purpose is and what's your motor, what's your locomotive, what's your drive to, be great. So thank you to Jvion Jones for writing this book. Appreciate all that he did, and he didn't have to share that story, but he did. And I hope you guys really do check it out. This podcast I definitely will be sending to him to say, hey, thank you, and continue to write these stories. So it was a little bit of a different move today in regards to, podcasts. Last week I did do books that I have read that have inspired my writing, but I didn't know any of those authors. This author I know personally. So this is why I needed to record this podcast. It was important. And I may be doing these in the near future. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. That's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening as always. Have a good weekend. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.